Good morning and welcome back to the 22nd Annual Family Cafe. We're happy to have you here. Once again, I am Jeremy Countryman, Program Director, and I'm here with Joe.
Good morning. Good morning, everybody.
How you doing this morning, Joe?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
I'm not doing too bad.
Yeah,
keeping it together.
We're almost halfway.
Yes.
It's good.
And speaking of keeping it together, we got a couple of sessions planned for you today, both of which are focusing on behavioral health. Here at the Family Cafe, we've made a concerted effort to include mental health and behavioral health as part of what we're doing as a cross-disability organization. So we're happy to bring you a couple of sessions on those topics today specifically. And before we jump into our presentation and tell you a little bit about that, we want to go over a couple of housekeeping reminders. Of course, if you've been watching these videos, this may be redundant, but hey, we got to tell you every time. So what's this, Joe?
That is the pink card, Jeremy.
You complete your pink card, you write your question or comment on here about the service delivery system for people with disabilities here in Florida, mail that into us. We take your questions, we share them with state agencies, and they give us written answers we use to create our questions and answers book. We also have the report card. It's upside down. There we go. So the report card, the point of that is for you to let us know how you've enjoyed the event. So both of those are in the packet you received when you registered. So if you complete those and send them back to us with your return address, make sure to include that. We'll send you a free gift while supplies last. We also want to remind you that the agenda for all of the sessions is available in a couple of different places. It's on our website. You can download it there in the lead article. You can also download our smartphone app, which is a really handy tool. It allows you to kind of create your own custom schedule. It also lists all the sessions that we're not able to include in the live stream that you can get information about later. And you can do your pink card and your report card right there in the app as well. So, Joe, how do people out there in internet land ask questions during the presentation?
Fine question that is. Yes, please, if you have questions, go ahead and put them in the comment section of Facebook Live, and we will be monitoring those, and we will ask them to our panelists for about the last 10 minutes of the presentation. So please go ahead and write them in the comment section, and we will ask them to the extent that we can toward the end.
All right. So with that, we're going to go to our presentation. This morning's presentation is called True Colors, Discovering Your Child's Personality Style. And we have two excellent presenters with us, both of whom are from Fiddlers, which is the Florida Diagnostic Learning and Resource System, Sandra Henigman and Marty Massimo. So with that, I'll hand it over to them. Morning, guys.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Marty Massimo, and I have been a parent specialist at Fiddlers Gulf Coast, which is located Hernando, Pasco, and Pinellas counties. And I've been there for 21 years. Love my job. I'm the parent of actually 5 children, but my youngest 2 actually received ESE special ed services, which is kind of how I got involved in Fiddlers. My favorite part of what I do is I facilitate trainings at schools to help students and teachers understand disabilities and awareness and acceptance and empathy and all of those good collaborative skills that students need to have.
Good morning, I'm Sandy Henigman, and I too work for Fiddlers Gulf Coast, not quite as long, but my teaching career began in 1990. Back when the dinosaurs roamed. And so I've had such a spectrum of students that I have served as well as adults. In fact, my career began working, not incarcerated, in a maximum security juvenile delinquent facility. So I worked with some significant behavior needs children, and from there went to minimum security adult prison, and then started teaching in public schools. I've taught in California, Pennsylvania, and Florida, in quite a few counties in Florida. So while I'm a nomad like a dinosaur, I've learned a lot of experiences from this. I also have done compliance for school districts. So it's nice to have both the educational side as well as the compliance side for this job. I am housed in Pasco County, but I do support the other two districts as well. So we're so excited to be here with you. Some of you might have remembered us last year when we presented live at Family Cafe, had a wonderful turnout. In fact, I think we were 75 strong and had many opportunities to chat with you throughout the rest of Family Cafe. So we were so excited to be invited back again. And this year being a little different virtual, we were missing the love. So we just wanted to let you know that while this is virtual, we can't do some of the activities that we did last year. One of the things that we did tweak to this presentation is we're also going to talk about true colors during times of crisis. And we've been in this crisis now for a few months, and how this affects your children, how this affects adults. So we wanted to tap into that to help give a better understanding of that as well.
Okay, true colors. Actually, for centuries, humans have studied the behaviors, the personality, and the temperament of each other. It actually started back in 400 BC, back when dinosaurs roamed the earth.
They were with me.
Yep. And it evolved through the years, and usually 4 different personality types were identified. In 1950, there was a mother-daughter team of Myers-Briggs who actually developed a personality type that was widely used by corporations and government, particularly the military, because they saw the need for people that had to work together as teams, had to understand each other's behaviors, and had to understand the temperament so that they could collaboratively work together. True colors is actually kind of a simplified version of that, easy to remember. There are 4 personality colors, and you'll see on your screen, you see an orange, a gold, a green, and a blue. And all of us have some of these color types in us, but we probably connect stronger with 1 or 2 of them, and then we probably connect the least with 1 or 2. So take a look at these pictures, see if there's anything there that kind of grabs at you or you connect with and say, yep, that's me, that's my child, that's my spouse. And then we're going to go into each color a little bit further.
So let's talk the orange attributes. These are people and children, adults, that are very energetic. They're very adventurous, they're risk takers, and many people don't realize how resourceful orange people are. We know how to tap into things. Oops, I guess I gave it away what I am, but I'm sure you probably have already figured that out. I am very orange, and we're very freedom oriented, and we need variety, we need choices. And while we tend to push the boundaries, that tends to come across that we're badly behaved, but really we're not. We push the boundaries. How far can we go? Because we like limitless opportunities. And one of the things that you may also find with oranges is we're very good negotiators. Well, I'll go to bed on time if I can. I'll brush my teeth if I can. And so they'll always be the wheeling and dealing kids of the family, and adults as well. Not that, yep.
Gold. If you could see all the lists in front of me, you will know that I am definitely a gold. Very strong gold. If you look at the pictures, you'll see a clock, you'll see a planner, you'll see a piggy bank saving money, you'll see business plan. These are your people that have to have everything organized. They're responsible. They're the person you can depend on to organize the party and have all the things planned out. They're going to be the ones to be there on time, to get the job done and line up all of the people that will help participate. They're making the to-do lists and they're checking them off. Even if you add something to your to-do list afterwards, you keep adding on and keep checking off. They're rule oriented. I drive the car. I look at the speed limit signs. I have a rule. I will not go more than 10% over the speed limit. So driving through Florida on 301 through all of those towns like Stark and that have the warning signs, yeah, my husband turns the wheel over to me because he knows that we will not get a speeding ticket on those roads because I look at that stuff. They follow traditions. They remember the birthdays and the anniversaries. The Christmas tree goes in the same corner in the living room and the same angel on top of the tree. Then you take a child. They respect authority. They're good with academic routines. Those are your gold kids are the ones that usually do very well in school because they are rule followers. They like the awards, so they want the recognition at the end that they did everything they needed to do. They're the kid that's the good line leader, okay? Because they're not going to go too fast. They're not going to go past where the teacher told them to go, and they're going to make sure everybody's following in a line behind them. When they're playing Monopoly, they are following the rules. They pass go, you get $200. No, you do not negotiate for more money. And green, I'm kind of a tie with green blue, so I'm going to go over green. Green, if you look at the picture, you're going to see the rocket ship, you're going to see pyramids, you're going to see telescope and the thinker, Rodin's thinker, stacks of books. Greens are your analytical, science, math-oriented people. They like the challenge of learning things. They want to solve a problem. They're very investigative and researching. They're the ones that are sitting there with their cell phones now. Well, back when I grew up in the dinosaur age, we used dictionaries and encyclopedias, but now they're the ones looking things up on Google. What does that mean? Where can I find that? How can I validate that? Children, they have a little bit different take when they're green. Your goal, the teacher makes the rules and they follow them. The family makes the rules and they follow them. Your green needs to understand why that rule. And they need to respect you so that they know that that's a good rule and I should follow that rule. They don't like the drill and repeat. They sometimes have a different sense of humor and you have to really think deeply. And when they're playing Monopoly, they're looking to negotiate why they couldn't get $250 because they went around the board a little bit quicker than you did.
And we also have the blue. And while I am mostly orange, blue is a tide color for me. And these individuals are very sensitive. They're definitely your relationship people. I lovingly call them the kumbaya people because they want happiness all the way around. In school and at home, they're probably your little mother henners, always making sure that all the other kids are doing what they're supposed to do, making sure that they have what they need, making sure if they're sad, they're going to comfort them. So they're often a mediator between other kids in your family and other kids in a classroom because they're the ones that are wanting to make sure everybody is happy. So, well, if you do this, then maybe she'll do that. And so they're always trying to mediate between people. They're very motivating. They're very optimistic. A lot of people say that they may be too sensitive. They're little crybabies because they are very emotional. But oftentimes, this is the group that I'm the most concerned about because they're frequently overlooked because they are the quiet ones. They're not always looking for attention or they're not often just doing things on their own. They're internalizing a lot and they often are not heard and they have a need to be heard. And because they're not most often outspoken, they're overlooked. They also need that affirmation of what they're doing, that everything is okay. They need to know that what they're doing is okay. And right now, your elementary ed teachers and your special education support staff are mostly blue. And so think about that with them being the relationship people with this day and age right now, they can't have that relationship with their students like they did in the classroom. So this is a time right now where they're really hurting because they're not getting that hug. They're not giving that high five. These people are missing that. So they're often overlooked. And so it's one of those groups of people that I think we need to be really aware of because they tend to hide behind others.
Okay, and all of us are a spectrum of colors. We look at the orange, the gold, the green, and the blue.
The true color shining through.
She had to get that in there. But most of us have a dominant color. And then we have other colors in there that could be influenced by other things around us. An example might be Sandy is a very fun-loving orange person. If we were going to visit someone very ill in a hospital or going to a funeral, she would not be singing songs like that. She would pull out more of the blue. So we all have pieces of that in us, and we pull out different colors depending on what we might need for that situation.
And I think too about my divorce, as orange as I am, when I was going through my divorce, I had to be very, very gold because I needed to have all of my paperwork in order. I needed different things for my attorney. I had to make sure that my calendar was set so I didn't miss any meetings that I needed to attend. So you will find that, yes, you have your brightest color, but as Marty said, you're a spectrum. You have all of these colors in you. And there's different times of our lives where different colors will pull brighter and others will be more pale. And that's okay. If you think, gosh, when I was younger, I was an orange. I was that risk taker. I wanted to do the roller coasters, but now I have kids. So now I have to be more aware. And I have to, I can't be that risk taker because my kids need me. So I may not be as bright of an orange, but my blue is going to show because I want to make sure the safety of my children.
Okay, and here's Sandy and Marty. So her predominant is orange. My predominant is gold. And if you look at our palest colors, you will see they are opposite. But Sandy and I have been working together, training together for years. So it is proof that different colors can work together. You're going to find in your own family that you will have children of different personality and temperament types. Your children, your spouse, your extended family. You're going to find coworkers and neighbors. You're going to find the teachers and the therapists that you work with are going to have different colors. When you go into those IEP meetings and you're a gold like Marty and you have all your lists and your data there, and then I have maybe a therapist who is more blue and emotional. I have to recognize that this is where she's coming from. She recognizes where I might be coming from. And we look at the end thing is that we're working to help a child.
And just thinking about what Marty said, we are so opposite. So look at our primary color, our brightest color. I'm very orange. So as she was talking about rules, that she's a good rule follower. She sets rules. Rules are a place to start for me. And Marty is understanding of that. Mm-hmm. And that's why understanding your color helps you with your colleagues, your coworkers, your spouse, your significant other, teachers, your children, the extended family members, because understanding that I'm as orange as I am, and I understand as gold as Marty is, there are times where it really has its place. So while I may be very orange in my personal life, when it comes to doing trainings as I do for large groups of educators, I find that my gold really becomes bright because I have to be very serious. It's serious content. But what's nice is with that orange, when I start seeing things getting in a lull, we need to have a razzle dazzle, I can do that. I can bring that up. So it's nice having that spectrum of colors, because then when somebody says, oh my gosh, I just got a text, my husband just had a heart attack, he's going to the hospital, then my blue can take over my gold, and I can say, you need to go to the hospital. I will get this information to you. I will finish the training with you directly. I will do whatever it takes. You need to go. So it's nice having this spectrum, because then we can capitalize on those colors depending on what life throws at us. So looking at these cards, this is an opportunity for you if you have a piece of paper in front of you. So looking at the cards and looking at the pictures on those cards, what are you connecting to the most? For me, it was the orange. It was the eagle flying free. That's me. As much as I like taking risks, I wouldn't say roller coasters are my favorite thing, but boy, you talk about parasailing or whitewater rafting, I'm all over that. So that would be my number one. And then I would put actually a number 4 under that, because that's going to be my brightest color. So I would put a 4 there because that's the one I connect to the most. Then I would put a 3 under the card. That would be my next connection. And for me, it was the blue. I love the family. I love the music. I love the dove and peace and everybody being happy. So for me, I would put a 3 for the blue.
And there's a cake on there, and she talked for about 10 minutes this morning about this wonderful cake that she had.
Happy
yesterday.
birthday to me. Yes, yes, yes.
So that was important.
And then my next color where I would put a 2 is the green. I love science. I love thinking things through. I love researching. That would also go with the orange. So so the green would be my 2, and then my palest color that I would put a 1 under is the gold. So take this time and just kind of jot down, and you can even write the colors in order. Like I would say mine's orange, blue, green, and gold. You don't have to worry about the numbers right now, but doing this activity right now is going to help with our next steps when we talk about our significant other, our spouse, our family, our other children in the family. So just take a quick moment. What color, like Marty, would be gold?
I'm definite gold.
Green.
But I think in college, I was probably orange. But that was a lot of years ago.
You wild child, you. You wild child. So parenting style. So think about your parents. So let me give you a little bit about my parents. My mom and dad were both very strong Catholic, to the point that my mom was a nun and my dad was a brother. Unbeknownst to each other, left each other's orders. So we were brought up very regimented, very gold, very green. And then there was Sandy, the orange of the family. And I'm one of 4 children. And I have a gold, a green, and a gold. And then there's me. That's the orange. So think about your parents. Marty, how were your parents?
My parents were similar colors to me. They were gold green. They very much tradition. The Christmas tree was always in this corner of the living room. Everybody ate dinner together at the table. You had the same chair. One of my brothers dare not sit in the wrong chair. That was, no, everybody had their chair. They very much challenged us and pushed us academically. There was never a, oh, let's stay home from school today and do something fun. No, you went to school, you got there on time, you came home, you had your snack, you did your homework, you know, repeat the next day, the next day, the next day. You know, but then when we think about our parents, are there things that we would want to repeat? And for me, I loved the traditions. I love the holiday traditions. I love the fact, and I was telling Sandy, I have this gold ring. Let me see if I can get it there. Okay. My grandmother's mother, who was married in the late 1800s. This was her wedding band. She died when my grandmother was 3. It was passed on to my grandmother when my grandmother got married at age 16 in 1929. Then my grandmother passed it on to my mother, and my mother passed it on to me. I love this. This will go to one of my girls. I have 4 girls. This will go to one of my girls. Those are some tradition things that other people might think, you know, it's very plain. There's nothing exciting about it. But to me, I like those traditions. My family had those traditions. Some of the things I would not want to repeat are, you know, having some of the strong, same academic expectations. All of our kids are very different. I had 2 kids that were different types of learners. Well, actually, all of them were different types of learners, but 2 of them had some special needs. So I had to adjust some of my expectations. Not that I didn't push them, I absolutely did, and have the supports in place, but I didn't have the expectation that everybody was going to achieve the exact same thing. So that was a change from what my parents had.
I think for me, some of the things that I would repeat, my parents were very good about setting rules and boundaries. And even though I challenged them, it did help me become disciplined as an adult. So while I do push the envelope a lot, even in my adult life, I still respect and will preserve those boundaries. I just might be on the very edge. If there's a yellow line, I might be standing on it, but I'm not over it. So my parents were very good about instilling the rules and this is how things are. But one of the things that I would definitely not repeat, and I am not repeating, is discipline. Because what you do for every child does not work the same. And for me, my learning disability wasn't identified until I was in the 6th grade. And so to constantly tell my younger sister, oh, your writing is so beautiful, and I was struggling with that. But now you look at me as a teacher and I have the nice teacher handwriting, and you look at my sister who's PhD in analytical chemistry, and her signature is like chicken scratch. So I that is something that I would definitely not repeat, is the discipline, because not every child responds to the same strategies the same way. And with me having a learning disability, it wasn't a choice. It was, I couldn't do it yet. And when I could do it, that was magical. And some of that back then, they didn't know much about disabilities. So that is an edge, and I forgive my parents for that. But still just being aware that everybody's discipline is different and it may not look the same. So think about how you are, and then think about your other half, be it your spouse, be it a significant other. I'm dating somebody who is a gold green and I'm an orange. So let me tell you, it's a very interesting relationship, and I have to be aware of that. So much like Marty, who's the list maker, when we go to the grocery store, making a list, whereas I tend to be a free-for-all and I just grab as I go, and I tend to walk 5 miles in the grocery store to get everything that I need because, oh, I forgot about. So if it wasn't for him and being the list maker, and this is where we need to go. So here's the aisles, especially now with Publix, has those one ways. Boy, can I say, violator most of the time. I tried to sneak in and sneak out with other people not looking at me. So yeah.
And my husband actually is the same colors as me, green, gold. And sometimes you think, oh, if you're the same color, that's easy. But you know what? I have my lists and my way of doing things, and he has his lists and his way of doing things. And then sometimes you butt heads on whose way is the better way. So, you know, those are the kinds of things that you might run into with a spouse if there's a difference or if you are the same.
Yep. So let's take it a step further. There's how you learn from your parents. There's the way you are. There's you and your other half. But now let's talk about the family spectrum. When you add how the grandmothers were. I have one grandmother that was just as bright orange as I am. And boy, she and I just ran with it. I have another grandmother who was very gold, and there was no fun. There was no, everything was rules, rules, rules. And I really had a hard time going to that grandma's house. Think about your grandfathers. Again, going back to each of your children have their own color. Like I said, I'm with 2 golds, a green and an orange. Think about aunts, uncles. Think about stepmoms, stepdads, stepbrothers, stepsisters. When you start thinking all of the different colors that all of these individuals are, just being aware of some of this.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So how does this look at home? So my cat is on the left. That is Sadie. Yes, there's true colors for pets, and I am proud to say my little kitten is an orange with me. And on the right is
Zoe. Yes.
And that is Marty's pet. So how does this look at home? So we thought a fun way of how this might look. So most of us have a pet of some kind at home, be it a cat, be it a dog,
A fish.
lizard, a fish, horse, could be a number of things that you have. So just be thinking of a pet that you might have and how much they love treats. So how might these colors in your children look at giving treats to the pet? Well, I can tell you firsthand, being an orange with my little Sadie, if it's time to give her treats, I don't just put them on the floor. Good kitty. I don't do that. I came up with a game. I whiz them across the floor. So she's chasing all over after. She's running into things. And it's a fun thing. And I can't say that I always start in the kitchen and end in the kitchen. I may start in the kitchen, go down the hall, go in the living room, go in the bedroom, go in the second bedroom, go in the bathroom. I'm all over the place. But to me, it's a game and it's fun. The cats love it. It's new with the novelty they just respond to, and it's fun.
Yeah, no, that would not fly with a gold. We have a set schedule when we give treats. Actually, there's a schedule hanging on my refrigerator that my gold husband drew up. And it says what time Zoe gets a treat. And she gets it after she goes out. And she gets it in her mouth and she eats it at a particular spot in the house. And it is a set portion. It is not unlimited treats. So talk about a blue.
The blue, very much like I said before, oh, good kitty. Here's a good treat for you. Oh, here's another. Oh, you're such a good girl. Let me give you another treat. Oh, wait. You know, I just love you so much. Pick you up. Oh, here's another treat just because I can give it to you. They're just going to love on them and they'll just keep giving them treats because I love you so much.
And then your green child will want to sit there and read the snack label. They may have watched commercials on TV about certain brands are better than others. So they're going to read the nutritional label and why aren't you doing this particular brand? And I don't need you to help me. I can do this on my own and I can figure it out.
Exactly. So that's just a simple chore. I was also thinking, gosh, taking out the trash. And I'm thinking, oh, as an orange, I know how that would turn out. So I'm sure this is starting to come up with some ideas in your head, different things that you do at home, how these different colors would react to that particular chore. But let's take it a step further. And it's kind of hard right now because we're not really going on vacations. It's more of staycations. But living here in Florida, we have access to so many places, and so many places right now are opening. And so when you're looking at this picture and you're thinking this family spectrum, I'm thinking right off the bat is an orange in that picture. That Ferris wheel is looking really awesome. That looks like fun. And I bet just farther down is going to be parasailing all over that. Boogie boards, let's rent them. Let's have a great time. So there's lots of activities there that I see an orange could do. Marty, what do you think a gold would want to do?
I think a gold would want to know what the plans are. What is the schedule? And are we bringing our beach chairs? Or are we renting them? And are they going to be in the same spot? and knowing where then the bathroom is and what time are we going to eat and what time are we leaving, all of those things. And what do I have to carry? Do I have to carry the tote bag with the sunscreen and the towels, and who's going to bring water bottles? Yes, I would want to know all that.
And I bet a Gold is also going to be looking to see maybe if there's a history museum. Oh, Miss Smithsonian. Oh my gosh, that would be so awesome. So awesome. Okay. And then what about a green? What would a green?
They would want the ability to explore and learn. So is there a science museum? Let's walk down the beach and collect up shells, and let's figure out what are these shells.
And the dolphins swimming in the water. Oh gosh, that would be too cool.
They'd be looking at for marine life, those kinds of things. And then our blues,
they're going to be wanting all the family time. They're probably going to be the ones that are hanging out with you on the beach, building sand castles, building memories. They're also, if it's possible, like some beaches, not many anymore, used to let you build little campfires or have like a little pit there, and they would be wanting, campfire time, storytelling, family time. They're going to love that kind of thing. And I bet they're also too going to be watching with the greens, the nature that's out there, collecting shells for the memories. And oh, look at the dolphins swimming in there, all that good stuff, really creating memories. So as you can imagine, on any family vacation, planning events for all of these different needs. And it's not just all of the different children in the family, but it's also what does mom what does mom want to do? What does dad want to do? And if you bring the cat or the dog on the trip, making sure that they have something to do. Boy, new toys are always a good thing, aren't they? So at this point, this is when we decided to add the true colors in challenging times, because right during spring break is when we found out that we were not going back to our way of work. And this is when our spectrum heightens, and it could be your brightest color that really becomes prevalent. Sometimes it's some of your other colors. And I can speak as an orange, all of a sudden, orange, as bright as I tend to be, became my palest color because my way of work had to change. And all of a sudden, I had to really create the schedules and the routines that Marty is so natural at, that I am so not. All of a sudden, I had to really become disciplined that way, because I had to make sure that I was putting in 30 minutes for lunch, because I was finding my first couple days at work, I went from 7:30 to 3, and I was like, golly gee, I am so hungry, because I never ate. I never stopped. I didn't have a routine now, because before, when I was at the office, we had a set time. This is what we do if we don't have a meeting. And so I was so accustomed to that. And now I'm just in my second bedroom in front of my computer, and this is what I do. It was very difficult for me. So all of a sudden, my gold really became my brightest color. And as a scary note, personally, I had to even call Marty and tell her, oh my gosh, this is the first time in my adult life that my closets are organized. As an orange, my closets are never organized. The clothes are at least on hangers, but I don't have the green group and the black group, and things are halfway hanging off. No. I finally have organization in my closet. I know where my shoes are, and they're actually paired together, not 10 minutes that I'm looking for its other half. So during this time, you have color attributes that are really, really, really going to shine. So your orange that continue to shine orange, they're very skilled. And it's really going to start shining how skilled and resourceful they are. They like to demonstrate. And your kids are probably doing this. Let me show you. And instead of oh no, I'm the parent, I'm the teacher, and you want to take over, this is the time to take a step back and let that orange be bright. Let them shine there. This is something that they can do. These are the people, children and adults alike, and you're probably noticing this, these are the people that are going to help you enjoy your alone time, because you're never alone with an orange. We bring you in, we get to everybody. I tell you, if I go down, I'm bringing everybody down with me. So it's always lively. because we help keep everything energized. So you're probably noticing that these are the kids that are always trying to get everybody grouped together and have that energy and let's do it together. So how does a gold?
Okay, I'm primarily gold. So you would think that this would have been easy for me. You know, I have my schedule, but now I had to change my schedule. And I had to keep changing my schedule because we don't know what's coming. You know, from week to week, we did not know what was coming.
And the CDC guidelines are always
Right.
changing. The Department of Education has newest information. So always trying to, when you think you know what you're doing, then you find you're not.
Right.
Mhm.
I had appointments set that I had to cancel. And how do you rebook them when you don't know what the future is going to be? And I didn't like not having that sense of control.
Mhm.
How to define workspace. Fortunately, I don't have children at home, but I know I have a lot of family members that are trying to work from home and do schooling at home with their children. And they had to define those workspaces so that there could be some separation and a sense of, okay, when you're sitting here at this table, this is the time to do your reading, to do your math. This is the time that mom's going to do her, conference call. So it was a whole sense of rethinking how you were going to do stuff.
Mhm.
And then your green was probably very excited because they don't like the drill and repeat of school. So yay, I can learn whatever I want. I can
How
take
fast?
a walk outside in the backyard and I can look for 20 different shapes of leaves. And now I can research and figure out what they all are. And now I can try and draw them. Their only difficulty or challenge is that they were confined. A lot of us were so confined for so long that they weren't able to go out and explore as
Mhm.
freely, and you
Mhm.
might have gotten the arguments from them about, well, why not? Because they're the kid that wants to know why. They were the 2.5-year-old that was saying why, and they have not stopped.
And two, with the media sharing so much information on COVID-19, these are the individuals that can go both ways. They may always have that TV on, so they're always getting the latest, the most current information, the most current data, because they need that. Or they might get to the point where I have to shut it off because I need time to process that.
Mhm.
I need time to think this through. They may also look a little more withdrawn at this time. Greens tend to like to shut the door, have that digestion time, think it through, process the information. And so while it often comes across as, I don't want to talk to you, that really isn't it. What they're saying is, I need time to digest, and then we're welcome to talk about it. So this may be perceived as withdrawing when really they're not, they're just processing. Now, that's kind of has some similarities to our blues, but our blues tend to take it a little further. Right now, you probably see them as very attention seeking. Paul's son has been very much demonstrating this. He'll be playing on his computer game, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, while we're watching a movie, he is sitting in my lap. And I'm like, okay, what do you want? Because that's usually the sign I want something. When it's, I just want to tell you I love you. I
Mhm.
just needed to give you a hug. And I was like, oh my gosh, the bell just went off. I'm like, this little blue friend needs attention, and I need to be more aware of that as the grown up in the house. When he starts acting certain ways, now that's my trigger. He just needs that hug. I just need to kiss him on the head and everything will be better for him. I also find that with the blues, they're starting to internalize more. So these are the friends that you really need to reach out to, especially if you have individuals that may not have family members at home. They're alone. They need that phone call to check on them. Hey, how are you doing? I'm going to the store. Do you need anything? How are you feeling? Are you able to connect with your family? These people need people connections, and they're not getting that right now as we are social distancing, as we're staying home. These are often the people that need those interactions. So we have to make sure we take special efforts to include that. And the biggest thing that I do want to share, and it's at the bottom of our slide, is just remember, helping looks different with each color. And I can really say that for our oranges, because I was just going back thinking to the trash bag, taking the trash out. When I would do that, I may take the scenic route, and I may take 3 different rooms to finally get to the garage to throw it away. But that's my way of helping, because I have so much energy, and I'm getting there. I'm just going to do it my way. So just know that if it's not instantaneous, that our help looks different, and your blue friends, your blue children may want to help more while you're cooking, and might be something that might be, on the grill that, I'm a little worried with the fire, but what else could they help with? They're trying to help. They're trying to make that connection. Your goals, if you're making a list, let them help you make that list.
Let them cross off the items as you get it done.
Great idea.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So these are people that their help is going to look different, and just being aware of that now, because how they were before this whole COVID-19 started and where it is now is totally different. And now that things are starting to change, the pendulum is starting to swing back to a little more openness. And so the personalities may change again. So just being aware of colors and what the needs are, that's just going to be very important. So we have an evaluation. If you would like to copy this and do this later, I believe that Family Cafe is also going to be putting this in the chat pod, so you can also do that later. We are a discretionary project for the Department of Florida, and they want to make sure that how we're being trained and what we're being trained on, is that meeting the needs of our families? Is it meeting the needs of educators? Is it meeting the needs of all of the populations? So if you think that this was something worthwhile, or you think it wasn't, we definitely welcome back your feedback. So if you would be willing to take this evaluation sometime and just let us know if we made the mark, or if we were better off doing how we did last time, we welcome that feedback. So if you'd like to take this down, and like I said, they probably will be putting it in the chat. And this is us, and this is our contact information. As Marty said at the beginning, we're both Fiddler's Gulf Coast. And while Marty predominantly supports Pinellas County, we support everybody in Pasco, Pinellas, Hernando counties. So this is our phone numbers. This is our email. So if you would like additional information, we're more than willing to help you through any case scenarios. We're happy to accommodate you.
And the information is not just about True Colors. If you need any help,
resources for your children with
community
disabilities.
resources, how does this work in the school system? That's part of our job. I want to say probably half the time I'm on the phone or emails with families, trying to help them navigate the school system, navigate the resources that are out there in the communities. So
absolutely.
And you didn't read, there was one quote at the bottom.
Oh, yes. So in this time of crisis, I happened on this quote: "Blessed are those who remain flexible, for they will never be bent out of shape." Wishing you all well.
Thank you guys so much. That was fascinating.
Yeah, excellent material, and an interesting way to think about your relationships with the people in your family and everyone in your life, and sort of how to get a better grasp on where people are coming from, for sure. I just want to remind everybody, you can share your questions and comments in the Facebook comment section underneath the video. I believe we have
we do have a few
questions that have come in while you've been doing the presentation, so we're going to go ahead and go through those right now. Go ahead, Joe.
And I just want to say too, I appreciate how you talked about how some of the kids, they sort of change a little bit over time as we mature and get older. It's interesting for me. I have my 2 oldest are twins, and so we found that when they were younger, they sort of conquer things by each taking whatever they're better at, and they're sort of like, okay, I'm the athletic one, I'm the smart one. You got to be careful that you don't let them get into into these categories, to categorize themselves, sort of. And it's just interesting. And now that they're apart in college in different places, kind of getting back to very much more similar personalities now that they don't have to help each other all the time, which is just sort of kind of an interesting aside. But yeah, so we do have a couple of questions. So here's the first one. This is some good questions. Only have a few, but they're good. What activities can I do with my child to find out their true colors?
We can do that individually. That was one thing when we were face to face that we were able to walk through the actual activities. But one of the things that they can do, I'm not sure when they're going to have access to this presentation, but they can connect with those color cards that were towards the beginning, and then just the way we did with them as far as which card did you connect with the most, and put a 4 under that. What do you connect with next? And then put a 3 under that. What do you connect with the next one, which would be 2, and then the one least. And Marty brought up a good point a while ago when we were doing this. There's usually one that you really, really connect with, and there's one that you really, really don't. So if you do your 4 and 1, then the 2 and the 3 kind of fall into place. And then that kind of gauges, can it change as you grow older? Absolutely. Can it change when different scenarios happen? Absolutely. But that's a good place to start.
Yeah. And we do have resource materials. We don't have thousands of resource materials, but we have some really good resource materials. And if you...
We can send electronically what we have.
We can send you what we have. You email us and we will be happy to share that, because there's all kinds of tips on how to discipline a blue child, how to have, you know, different color siblings match up. So
exactly.
We have a lot of those activities and stuff.
How an orange and a green would work together in different scenarios. Yeah, we can send that electronically. Feel free to reach out.
That sounds like it would be really useful, because I think that's one of the questions that first comes to mind. Like, if I decide my one child is this color and my other child is this color, what are the sort of the places they might overlap and the places they might conflict?
Well, and I thought it was interesting.
You'll have the orange that will naturally negotiate, and you'll have the blue that will naturally mediate. So you have some of that already going on. And when you have the gold and the green, well, that's two totally different ways of looking at the same scenario, issue, whatever it is that they're having. So we can definitely send that electronically. Absolutely.
And it was also interesting how you mentioned that people who have the same, you know, that may be sometimes just as difficult to get along or have challenges when you're, you know, when you're the same color. Right.
Yeah.
Both trying to do the same thing. Okay. So we had another one here. Do you have strategies to teach a child that is rigid how to adopt and receive other colors? Interesting.
And that would be the same, how they would interact, so that what we had talked about in the previous question, a lot of that will work together on that. We also have another presentation where we have more specifics on how colors view themselves, how colors are viewed by others, and then what it actually is. And I think those slides, we just didn't have enough time today. And normally that is something that we cover, that would also be very helpful for families. And that is something also that we would be happy to send electronically, because as an orange, how I perceive myself being very fun-loving, very energetic, others perceive me as that I don't take things seriously. And so understanding that difference in with other children, with other adults, is very important. And our other presentation was able to cover that. We just, you know, due to the time, we had to.
No, absolutely. No, I appreciate it. Okay, we got one more question here, and this is a little bit similar in that I think that they could maybe reach out to you, but maybe just talk for a second. What supplies or materials would be helpful for a middle school learning strategy class? Do you guys have stuff like that they could look at, or suggest?
As far as true colors, are they looking at true learning strategies? Because many districts already have either predetermined programs or tools that they want their students to utilize as it continues then towards the high school years.
Okay.
So if it's a true learning strategies class, I would actually defer that to districts, because most of the time there's specific things that they want the students to use. But as far as true colors, again, it would be, as you've already mentioned, it would be some of the things that we have that you can implement the personality part. But as far as a true learning strats, that would be a whole separate, that's more of instructional training, and that would be a different type of training that we provide.
And that person could probably contact their fiddlers for their county. If they're not sure who that is, if they email us and tell us where they are,
We can hook you up.
we'll connect them
Right.
with a person who'll be able to share that information and help them out.
Absolutely.
I'm sort of glad that came up, because I thought one thing that might be helpful to the people watching is for you to just give like a really short overview of what Fiddlers is and what purpose it serves. And, you know, you mentioned people can reach out to you directly to find out the Fiddlers office for their area, but as you know, I know that exists online as well. But if you could just kind of give us really short overview of the role Fiddlers plays in our system.
Absolutely. So Fiddlers is a discretionary project for the state of Florida. So if you happen to read the fine print at the bottom at the beginning of our slide, we are funded through grant monies. And Fiddlers has 4 primary functions. We have Child Find, which we are mostly known for, identifying our little 3 to 5-year-old pups that might need some supports. We also have our Human Resource Development Group. They are the ones that do a lot of trainings for teachers. Then we have our technology specialists, which is half of my role. We do instructional and assistive technologies. And then the other half of me and all of Marty is the parent specialist. So our job is to help parents throughout their journey with students with exceptional needs. And we help support them through the schooling if they have any concerns about needing any resources in the community. We provide tons of resources that way. And we have 19 centers statewide. So we have every district in the state of Florida has contact with us. Some are multi-districts like we are, Gulf Coast, as we
We're
said.
3 counties. And then you have some fiddlers attached to some of our universities, like University of North Florida and University of Florida in Gainesville and USF in Tampa. They have fiddler centers there as well. So, but we work hand in hand with the school system with the goal to help every child reach their best potential, help the parent understand their child's rights and the processes
And the disability.
And connect them with all the resources, all of the agencies that you have. We know a lot of these people. We work with them very closely.
Great. Well, you know, Fiddlers, I think, is a great resource for students with disabilities and their families. So I just wanted to make sure everybody out there kind of had an understanding of what Fiddlers does and knows that it's, you know, something that can be really helpful and that's worth taking the time to try to access.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks very much.
Thank you guys so much.
Sandy and Marty, for being here.
Absolutely.
Thank
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
So before we sign off,
Yeah.
let's first of all thank a couple of our sponsors. I know one of them is Able United. What do they
Yes.
have going on, Joe?
Able United. So Able United, Florida's disability savings program, wants you to know that how you're spending this extra time at home. Now until June 30th, enter their Able at Home iPad giveaway for your chance to win. Learn more at ableunited.com.
All right, so please do check out ableunited.com. Get a chance to win a free iPad. In
Excellent.
addition to Able, we also have Career Source Florida, Disability Rights Florida, and Sunshine Health supporting our event. So thanks to them. Of course, since we're staying in our usual pattern here, you know that we will be back here at 2 o'clock this afternoon for our next live stream session. What's going on at 2, Joe?
2 o'clock, we have Florida's Behavioral Health System for Children, Youth, and Young Adults from our friends at APD and DCF. So we look forward to that at 2 o'clock.
Right. So if you need some more information about what the mental health and behavioral health resources are from state agencies, that would be a great session to tune into. So please do join us at 2 o'clock and we will see you then. Thanks very much, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.